Hello students, welcome to English class. This time we are going to learn about narrative text. Jadi untuk pembelajaran kali ini kita akan belajar mengenai teks naratif or narrative text. So what is narrative text? Narrative text is a text telling a story with complication or problematic events and solutions to solve those problems that is mainly used to entertain or amuse readers or listeners. Jadi, teks naratif adalah teks berisi cerita yang mengandung permasalahan dan solusi untuk memecahkan masalah-masalah tersebut dengan tujuan menghibur pembaca atau pendengar. Oke, untuk pembelajaran selanjutnya kita akan belajar 4 hal mengenai teks naratif. The first one is the purpose. The purpose atau tujuan dari teks naratif. The second one is the structure. The structure, struktur dari teks naratif. And the third one, we are going to learn about the language feature. Language features atau unsur kebahasaan. And the fourth one, we are going to see the example. Kita akan melihat contoh-contoh dari teks naratif. Okay. So, what is the purpose of narrative text? Apakah tujuan dari teks naratif? Secara garis besar, tujuan dari teks naratif ada 2. The first one, to entertain or amuse the readers or listeners. Menghibur pembaca atau pendengar. Jadi, setelah membaca atau mendengarkan teks naratif, seharusnya pembaca maupun pendengar akan merasa terhibur. Karena itu adalah tujuan utamanya. And the second one is to teach a moral lesson. Jadi mengajarkan pesan-pesan moral tertentu yang berguna untuk kehidupan sehari-hari. Okay, so that is the purpose of narrative text. Next, the structure, struktur dari narrative text. Secara garis besar ada 4. Orientation, complications, resolutions, and reorientations. Sekarang kita akan melihat satu persatu bagian dari teks naratif ini. Dari yang pertama, orientation. This part usually found in the first paragraph. In this part, the writer introduces the characters and the setting of the story. Jadi bagian orientation ini biasanya ditemukan di paragraf pertama. Orientation berisi perkenalan dari tokoh maupun latar dari cerita tersebut. Next, we have complication. In this part, the main character faces a complication or crisis. Jadi complication ini berisi masalah-masalah yang mulai muncul dan masalah-masalah tersebut biasanya mempengaruhi tokoh utama. The next one, resolution. This part tells how the complication or crisis is resolved. If there is more than one complication, there might be more than one resolution. Jadi resolution ini berisi pemecahan masalah yang dihadapi oleh tokoh-tokoh dalam cerita tersebut. Jika masalahnya lebih dari 1, maka kemungkinan juga resolution atau pemecahan masalahnya juga lebih dari 1. And the last one is reorientation. This part sums up the whole story with the moral values or lesson implied. Jadi bagian terakhir dari cerita atau reorientation berisi dari kesimpulan cerita tersebut, biasanya diiringi dengan adanya pesan moral yang bisa disampaikan secara eksplisit maupun implisit. Language feature. Beberapa unsur kebahasaan yang bisa ditemukan dalam teks naratif adalah past tense. Oke, jadi bentuk kalimatnya lampau dengan kata kerja biasanya bentuk kedua. Misalnya was, were, told, once, sent, etc. Adverb of time, ada keterangan waktu. Once upon a time, pada suatu ketika. Today, one day, and etc. dan lain sebagainya. Time conjunction, penghubung waktu. For example, when, saat. Suddenly, tiba-tiba. Before, sebelum. After, sesudah, dan lain sebagainya. Action verb, kata kerja yang berupa aksi atau kegiatan yang dilakukan. For example, ran, walk, rode. Diingat, biasanya kata kerja yang dipakai bentuk kedua. Next is the example of narrative text. Contoh dari teks naratif. Teks naratif jenisnya ada banyak sekali. Saya hanya akan menyampaikan beberapa saja yang sering kita temui di kehidupan kita sehari-hari. For example, fable. Fable atau fabel dalam bahasa Indonesia adalah cerita di mana tokohnya merupakan binatang yang memiliki karakteristik seperti manusia. Jadi dalam cerita tersebut, binatang-binatang tersebut bisa bertingkah seperti manusia. For example, we have the story The Mouse, Deer, and the Tiger. Mouse, deer dalam bahasa Indonesia adalah kancil. Jadi ini cerita mengenai kancil dan harimau. Mari kita dengarkan bersama-sama cerita ini. One day, there was a mouse deer. He was thirsty, so he wanted to drink on the river. When the mouse deer came next to the river, a tiger approached him and wanted to eat him. Of course, the mouse deer tried to escape, but the tiger ran faster and caught him. In that dangerous situation, the mouse deer thought hard how to escape the tiger. Then he got idea and said to the tiger, "Listen, your mightiness and toughness are all great, but I have my own king. He has a greater strength than yours. I'm sure that nobody can match his powers." Because the tiger felt taunted, he declared that he would challenge the mouse deer's king. Next, the mouse deer led the tiger to the river and said, "Now look at the water. You will see my king." Foolishly, the tiger looked in the river and surely saw another tiger in the water. Then he growled, but the tiger in the river imitated to growl too. Because of his too high self-pride, the tiger jumped into the water and wanted to fight. He was believing there was another tiger in the water. The mouse deer took the opportunity to escape. After fighting with himself in the river, the tiger realized that he was fooled by the mouse deer. Oke, demikian ceritanya. Jika kalian ingin membaca, videonya bisa di-pause dulu dan bisa kalian baca lagi sambil mencari tahu tentang apa cerita ini. Oke. Next, we have legend. Legend atau legenda dalam bahasa Indonesia biasanya berisi cerita asal muasal suatu tempat. For example, The Legend of Surabaya, legenda dari kota Surabaya. Okay, let's read together. Mari kita baca bersama-sama. A long time ago, there were two animals, Sura and Baya. Sura was the name of a shark, and Baya was a crocodile. They lived in a sea. Once, Sura and Baya were looking for some food. Suddenly, Baya saw a goat. Yummy! This is my lunch, said Baya. No way! This is my lunch! You are greedy, said Sura. Then they fought for the goat. After several hours, they were very tired. Feeling tired of fighting, they lived in the different places. Sura lived in the water, and Baya lived in the land. The border was the beach, so they would never fight again. One day, Sura went to the land and looked for some food in the river. He was very hungry and there was not much food in the sea. Baya was very angry when he knew that Sura broke the promise. They fought again. They both hit each other. Sura bit Baya's tail. Baya did the same thing to Sura. He bit very hard until Sura finally gave up and went back to the sea. Baya was happy. Okay, you can pause the video to read the story again. Kalian pause video lagi ya untuk membaca cerita. Okay, so the next one, folk tales. Folk tales adalah cerita rakyat dalam bahasa Indonesia. For example, we have the story of bawang merah and bawang putih. Okay, let's read together. Once upon a time, there lived a beautiful girl with her father, her stepmother, and her stepsister. One day, her father passed away. Her stepmother and stepsister treated her very bad, whereas they used to love her before her father died. She had to do all the housework. On the morning day, Bawang Putih went to the river to wash a lot of clothes. Then, she saw a goldfish needed help. Its mouth was stuck on a hook. Bawang Putih felt sorry and helped the poor goldfish. Thank you for your kindness, the goldfish said. Bawang Putih was very surprised that the goldfish could speak. However, the goldfish helped her to wash the clothes and they became best friends. Unfortunately, Bawang Merah, her stepsister, knew about the goldfish. She caught the goldfish and gave it to her mom. After that, they cooked it and ate it. When Bawang Putih knew it, she took the bone and buried it. She felt very sad that she could not take care of her best friend. Several days later grew a beautiful tree on the burial. Surprisingly, a prince came to see it. He needed the tree to make his father well again. When he asked who owned the tree, Bawang Merah said that it was hers. However, when she wanted to pull the tree, she could not do it. Even everyone could not do it, but Bawang Putih. Bawang Putih pulled the tree easily and gave it to the prince. The prince married Bawang Putih. She forgave her stepmother and stepsister, and they lived happily ever after. Okay. Next we have fairy tales. Fairy tales itu cerita dongeng dalam bahasa Indonesia. So the example is Thumbelina. Okay, let's read together. Once upon a time, there was a kind woman who had no children, longed for a baby, and would often say, "How I would love to have a baby girl, even a tiny little one." A beautiful fairy heard her wish one day and gave her a little seed to plant in a flower pot. When the seed bloomed into a tulip, the woman saw a tiny, beautiful girl inside, no bigger than her thumb. She decided to call her Thumbelina. She was so small that she had a walnut shell for a bed and used petals as a blanket. Then an ugly thought fell in love with Thumbelina. One night when she was sleeping, he carried her off to his lily pad in a pond. Thumbelina was very unhappy. A swallow was passing by and saw how sad she looked and said, "Come south with me to warmer lands." Young Thumbelina flew away on the swallow's back. They flew across the seas and came to a land of sunshine. The swallow said, "This is my home. You can live in one of the loveliest and biggest flowers." When Thumbelina stepped inside, she found a handsome fairy, as tiny as her, in its heart. He was the son of the king of flowers, and he fell in love with Thumbelina. He asked her to marry him. So Thumbelina became queen of the flowers, and the two lived happily ever after. Okay, so that's all our lessons for today. Demikian pembelajaran kita hari ini. Let's meet again in another chance and another lesson. Mari bertemu lagi di lain kesempatan di pembelajaran yang lainnya. Thank you.